Southampton now looking for their third manager of the season, and Darren, it was a torrid time, wasn't it? A short but torrid time for Nathan.
Yeah, 7 defeats in 8, 9 defeats in 14, and it was a torrid time, but also a sad time as well. I understand the concern of the fans. He hadn't given them anything to believe in. The style of play wasn't inspiring. The vision, the way forward, they simply couldn't see it, and the predicament they're in, they couldn't see him getting them out of it. Set against that, they're a young squad. They don't have that leadership. The ownership model is that they buy cheap and young and sell big and experienced. But the problem is that that's not a recipe for staying in the Premier League. The one thing I would say is that it's sad from my point of view, because I want to see British managers come up from the Championship and, get big jobs in the Premier League and survive and do well. But clearly his position was untenable.
So they're looking for their third manager of the season. That's quite remarkable in itself. Going to have to hit the ground running, whoever it is. Do you get a sense of who it might be? Could you think
No,
of anyone?
because there wouldn't have been a contingency plan. They wouldn't have been expecting, after just 2 months, to be sacking Nathan Jones. And so now they've got not only a relegation battle and considerations whether they look at an immediate appointment to fight off relegation or a more longer-term approach to rebuild the club. So there's not only that difficult thing to think through, but also they've got to get somebody who the fans immediately feel passionate towards and emotionally connected to and stuff, which is incredibly hard. So yeah, very thankless task that they've got. But I will say again, I feel sorry for Nathan Jones because I think they made the wrong decision in the first place. The experience and the adjustment it would have taken to rescue Southampton from this position was a little bit beyond him. And hopefully he goes on and, builds himself up to perhaps reach this point again.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing for Southampton is can they stay up? Do you fear for them now?
I do. I think they don't score enough goals. They don't keep enough clean sheets. When you look at the other sides in that bottom 4 or 5, they've all got experience. They've got goals in them. And they've got a bit of character. I just don't see it in that Southampton team. They play Chelsea next weekend. Chelsea will see that as an opportunity to kickstart their season, and I think it will get worse for them from here.
Do you think that this potentially they could go down?
I do. It's not based on their last place. It's more based on the fact that if you look in their midfield, there is not enough protection for the back four. If you look up front, there isn't anyone that you can say is going to get the goals to get them out of trouble. I think it's a recipe for relegation.
OK, let's get more on this. Let's cross live to St Mary's and speak to our reporter Paul Gilmer, who's there for us. So Paul, just explain to us how this all came about for those who might not know.
Yeah, good morning. I was at the game yesterday, and yesterday in terms of the performance and the atmosphere, it was strange. The first half was very much, it didn't look like a team not playing for their manager. Southampton were aggressive. They were on the front foot. The things that Nathan Jones talked about during the week in terms of putting his stamp on the team. He was getting that in the first half. They went 1-0 up. They obviously saw Wolves go down to 10 men, and at that point things looked good. The fans really bought into it yesterday in the first half, and for a moment it looked like, is this Nathan Jones' moment? Is this the moment he turns it around? But of course what happened in the second half and the perception of that losing to a team with 10 men coming from behind, that just fed into all of the things really that have come together to prove to be the downfall for Nathan Jones. So form was one of the key things that concerned Southampton, of course. The guys have spoken about it this morning. 7 defeats in his 8 Premier League games across 3 months. No clean sheet since October against Bournemouth. 5 successive league defeats at home. The first time that's happened, by the way, since 1998. So form was a big factor, especially if you look at what the clubs around Southampton are doing. We know a relegation battle can do funny things for a club, and you look at how Everton got that victory against Arsenal, appointing Sean Dyche and getting that boost. Leeds have acted with Jesse Marsh as well. So that came into play a little bit, what the rivals around them were also doing. You look at Wolves yesterday, they've had Lopetegui in and looks so much better for it. He was really positive in the second half, even with 10 men, made positive changes and really went for Southampton, knowing they were low in confidence. And the other thing was just after the Brentford game, and we know it got a lot of media scrutiny this week, Nathan Jones' interviews, some concerns within the club about things he said in the club. I know it's been pointed out as well by people here, how he referred to the players as they and them whenever things weren't necessarily going well. So all of these things have come together to lead to Nathan Jones' downfall. I heard yesterday that even at half-time he told the players, he emphasised, look, this team are down to 10 men. We need to attack, we need to go for this. So he did send out those right messages, and as Darren alluded to, this is a guy who was Championship Manager of the Season last season with Luton. He's a really great work ethic towards his profession. He's worked hard to get where he was, but clearly it just didn't feel like a good fit from the early days here at St Mary's. The Southampton fans usually quite patient with managers, one of the more patient fan bases in the league, you would have to say, and even they were beginning to turn against him in those early days. It became quite tense here at St Mary's. It became quite toxic at times. Especially when things go well. And we saw yesterday just how quickly the mood changed. As soon as that first goal, the equaliser went in for Wolves, everyone on the ground knew what was coming. It was a team low in confidence, and that's how it played out. And ultimately, that's what it's proved to be the last game in charge for Nathan Jones at Southampton.
It certainly has. Thank you very much, Paul.